Hey guys, TheSneakySnake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a pretty sweet game that I had here in the Udaloi, the Tier 9 Soviet destroyer. I'm divisioned up with my friends from APOC, Katias, and 3FM. They're playing in the Missouri and the Fletcher, the Tier 9 Premium American battleship and non-premium American destroyer, and we're playing some domination here on the map Tears of the Desert. For my captain skills, I have Preventative Maintenance, Last Stand, Adrenaline Rush, BFT, Superintendent, and AFT. And for my equipment, I have Main Armaments Mod 1, Aiming Systems Mod 1, Main Battery Mod 3, Propulsion Mod 1, Steering Gears Mod 2, and Concealment Systems Modification 1. So the Udaloi here in World of Warships, this is a ship that I have not played in quite some time. However, over the past couple of weekends, I decided that it was finally time to grind up and get the Grozovoi, which I was able to do so over the weekend. And I had to play about 30 games in this thing. And I'll be honest with you, I really enjoyed getting back into it. This was one of my best destroyers before the Soviet destroyer split happened some time ago. I know it was this year, I just don't remember exactly when. But what it basically did was split the Soviet DDs into two distinct lines, one on the so-called destroyer leader side, and then the other line is the more typical gunboat, and that is where the Udaloi resides at here at Tier 9 and leads to the Grozovoi. But really the only big change that happened is that you can switch out the speed boost for defensive AA, which I clearly have, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. And yeah, that's really it. The 14.6 kilometer range on the Udaloi is fantastic, and because these are Soviet destroyers, at the end of the day, they have very good performing shells, shell ballistics, and whatnot. The fire chance is pretty nice. My fire chance is 9% with the proper flags. I don't have Demolition Expert, of course, but I was using, I think at the time, a 14 or 15 point captain for this guy, so I just had to make do with what I had. And basically, what it excels at is ranged combat, and that seems like a bit of an oxymoron for Soviet destroyers, as you're really supposed to get in close to the caps and whatnot. But you can see that my concealment is only 8 kilometers, and as mentioned, I only have the concealment on my equipment. I don't have it for my captain, so 8 kilometers just so happens to be the range of my torpedoes. You do get quite a bit of torpedoes to launch in this thing. You have a total of 15, where you can launch up to 10 on either side, and then swing the ship around and launch the other set of 5, and I will get some use out of the torpedoes here later in the game. Now you can see right here at 9 kilometers, the gearing stands absolutely no chance against me, even if he is closing the distance. You can see that the shells just have such nice velocity, and hitting targets at that distance is extremely easy. And not only that, I managed to land 2 fires on him after he already used his repair. Now my buddy 3FM did take quite a pounding up there from the gearing, but he is now on fire from 2 places, so that's really good. It's definitely going to force him to, well, he's already in cover at the moment, but it's going to force him to stay there and wait. And you can see that my damage counter is actually ticking up quite a bit at the top right of the screen, about 300 points with the 2 fires going. The enemy Kagero does appear on Objective Charlie, and I do take a blind shot as he was moving across. My buddy 3FM is still in quite the pickle, and at this point, as the Kagero goes undetected, I switch my fire back to the enemy Grozovoi first. Now, I already did set 1 fire on him, and it does appear that he popped his damage control, so that is why I am definitely going to continue to shoot at him to try to get more fires. And you can also see my positioning in this ship is, this is where you need to be for caps. I'm not necessarily on the cap, but the Udaloi and the Grozovoi after it are actually really good destroyer escorts because you have the brutal firepower. 6 guns that have great fire chance. What you really want to do is help the stealthier destroyers out at the cap by staying just on the outside, and then whenever they do try to enter, you take some pot shots at them. And like you saw right at the beginning, that gearing paid for trying to take down my buddy 3, and while he did lose a lot of his hit points, that gearing is not going to be in a very good position for the rest of the game. Now I'm up to about 33,000 points of damage. I did launch my 8 kilometer torpedoes into the cap just in case that Kagero tried to be a little bit too cheeky and move a little bit further forward into it, but chances are that is not going to happen. And now I switch my focus here to the enemy Hindenburg, and you can see here as I'm shooting, I did have a little bit of an issue with leading targets. I was going way too far in front, at least when I started playing this ship again, because I just wasn't used to it. I've played the gearing quite a bit over the past few weeks, about 30 games I'd say, and I just kind of forgot how amazing these shell ballistics are. But I am getting some really good fire, and we have been able to turn back 2 of the 3 enemy ships. The Kurfürst had to run away. It looks like the Hindenburg is turning away, and now I am focusing on the second Kurfürst, and there we go. I managed to light Fire number 8 already here in this game. Even without Demolition Expert, the fire RNG has been extremely nice. And you can also see that because of the efforts up here by us, we were able to get both of the enemy destroyers off of the sea cap, and Angelo over there in his Fletcher is capping Charlie as we speak. So that's very good stuff. The time limit right now is 14:47 left in the game. It is 387 to 240. We've taken Bravo. The enemy team has moved down to Alpha. And again, we are in the process of capturing Charlie, which will be really, really nice. Some torpedoes do go in on the Fletcher, but luckily he was not in a position to take any hits from that. So very good stuff. Now I'm getting some more shots here at the enemy quarter first. Gustav over there. He's out of the smoke, and there we go. I get a fire on the bow, which is really, really nice. Hopefully I'll be able to get another one right into the superstructure and force him to continue his turn away and continue to burn this guy down. And again, that's what Soviet destroyers do. And to those of you that have the Kabadov Scout there and the destroyers on the destroyer leader side of the house, like the Tashkent, this playstyle should be very familiar to you. It's just you have a little bit less hit points, but you have more utility because your AA is better. And while you don't have as much brutal firepower per se, you can still do this every game. Getting battleships to turn away from caps and just harassing them. And you can see here that the range that I'm at, I'm out of the effective range of the German battleship's secondaries at 12.3 kilometers, and I am going to smoke up here and continue to pump more rounds into his superstructure. And that's something, as I already pick up the Witherer here with 13:31 left in the game. That's the big thing with these Soviet destroyers, being able to get people out of wherever you're fighting by long-range accurate fire is extremely deadly. And you can see that those destroyers have had to pop their smoke screens just to protect their friends that are over there, not being able to use them to, get on the cap or whatnot. And we have since been able to take care of Objective Charlie. There is the enemy Kagero on the cap, however, but he does get spotted at the edge, and the Fletcher is right next to him, so we'll see what happens here with that. But now I'm going to use the good speed of the Udaloi, and the reason why I do not run the speed boost on this guy is because with the speed flag, you can go well over 40 knots without even bothering to use it. You can see I'm at 41.5 knots, and my speed is still climbing. So when you do get into games with aircraft carriers, it actually is really nice. And of the 30-ish games that I played the past couple of weekends in this thing, I think I got into a game with a CV probably 6 or 7 times, and there were multiple occasions where I was able to shoot down 10 or more aircraft with the anti-aircraft guns. So it's no joke. And the Grozovoi after this, which I have unlocked, really does turn the AA up to some pretty comfortable levels. It gives the Gearing a run for its money as being the best anti-aircraft destroyer at tier 10. And you can also see I continue to pound the fires on Sneak Attack Tortoise. Picked up fire number 13, and he did have to use his damage control. I was angled right there, and you know what? That's okay. I'm taking a little damage right here. I'm just really greedy trying to get these fires set on this guy once again. And there we go. I pick up fire number 14, and now as I go undetected, I decide I'm going to back up, and because I have the great range, I can continue to shoot at this guy. Hopefully I'll be able to do so. At least the rear turret is getting over the island, and hopefully I'll be able to get these front guns. There we go. Now I'm shooting from stealth, and I get my entire salvo out. You can see here, this is some really high level positioning, being able to shoot all your guns over the corner of the island. I do eventually get detected, but I was able to get quite a few salvos out, and there we go. Once again, I do go off of the map. So this right here, using island to technically stealth fire without putting yourself really in a dangerous position. And this is still well within the effective range of these guns when you're shooting at a battleship-sized target. So some very good stuff right there. And I also have cracked over 200 shells hit with 11:11 left in the game. Please make a wish. So at this point, it's 481 to 382. We still hold Bravo and Charlie. Unfortunately, our friends that went down to Alpha were rudely pushed away. And we have already lost 2 ships. The enemy team has now lost 4, and the game does look pretty much in the bag at this point. There's really no reason why we shouldn't be able to take care of business. Katias over there is taking quite a bit of damage. He's at about a third hit points at the moment, and 3FM is getting ready to go and smoke this guy. He is using his repair party right now, so hopefully he will be able to get smoked up before the next salvos come in. But unfortunately, torpedoes are spotted. These are Gearing torpedoes, set of 10 coming in, so hopefully there's a nice gap to be found, and there indeed is. And all three of us are going to be able to get out of dodge from these torpedoes. So very nice stuff right there. And my buddy 3 is able to smoke him up. Katias is now going to get some more hit points back. And the Montana manages to take out the Dingleberg. So it's now 619 to 302. And with 10-11 left in the game, I'm up to 153,000 points of damage if you guys lost track of the damage counter like I certainly did right here. And holy crap, just some insane fire RNG. I gotta admit, without Demo Expert, been able to do some really good work. One of the Kurfürsts is dead. The other one is on a sliver of his hit points. Both destroyers are hurting. And once again, we continue to mount the scores up. The Hindenburg does manage to take care of the Mogami, but unfortunately, the Mogami's torpedoes were able to take him out, so we had a trade. But since we have 2 of the 3 caps, trading with the enemy right now is not necessarily a bad thing. More torpedoes, however, are coming in. I am using my smokescreen to make it a little bit bigger. Unfortunately, Katias is going to eat a couple of torpedoes here, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, Katias does die from the Kagero. So very unfortunately, he tried to make a turn to get out of the smokescreen, but the Kagero took him out. And now I'm continuing to shoot here at Gustav in his Kurfürst. He did use his damage control. So as I do get detected, I do move out of the smoke screen. Probably a waste smoke right there, in all honesty. It really wasn't good, and that's one of the few weaknesses of my game. I still have some very questionable smoke screen usages, but nonetheless, the Montana is able to take care of the Kurfürst. And at this point, the enemy team only has 5 ships left while we have 8, so we should, again, continue to take care of business in this game. There's really no reason for us to lose this one right here. And just because of that, I am going to go to the southwest and get on objective Bravo. I was detected there for a little bit. Unfortunately, the Montana does take out our friendly Hipper, but again, we still have a nice points lead, and I'm going to try to help this Montana out, who's moving down in towards Bravo. Torpedoes are on the way, probably from the Kagero, and at this point, I do get detected. Now, I'm trying to think here, where could this guy possibly be? He has to be within 8 kilometers of me, so what I'm doing right here is I'm kind of taking an educated guess. I know that the destroyer is somewhere off to my right side, and I'm trying to figure out if he is moving parallel to my course. But what's going to happen here any second, I am actually going to go undetected. So what that tells me is that he's either way off to my northeast as you're looking at my ship, he's about 30 degrees off to the right, or he has to be behind me and was moving away from me. So again, I thought he was moving parallel with my course, but when he went undetected, gave me a little bit more information on where his position might be. So then I pinged the map and was like, hey guys, I'm pretty sure that he's up here behind me and off to my right side, the starboard hind quarter, I should say. And there was also that smoke screen that got popped back there as the Khabarovsk probably moved a little bit too close to the destroyer that was back there. So as I'm getting some shots on the Iowa, one of the enemy destroyers is actually going to pop up exactly where I figured that he was. Now, I mean, let's be honest here. It's an educated guess, nothing more, nothing less. Obviously, I didn't know exactly where that guy was at. Excuse me. And you can see the Kagero's last reported position up there right next to Objective Charlie and the gearing as well. So when you're trying to figure out an enemy ship's position, you can use the landmarks, and when you do get detected and when you don't, to help you out. And because Soviet destroyers do have rather poor detection ranges, it's a skill that really comes with practice. There's really no surefire way to be able to tell. That was a bit southern. Where exactly they're going to be. I'm now getting some shots here at the full health enemy Fletcher, so I know that he's over here, and I am sure that there are torpedoes that will be on the way here sometime shortly. That Montana did take quite a few of them, and it may have been from the Fletcher. And once again, I'm going to pop my last smoke screen of the game, and I'm going to creep onto Objective Bravo here as I continue to send more rounds downrange at the enemy Montana. He's at 55,000 hit points, excuse me, and he is moving in towards Objective Bravo. Our Bismarck is making a very ballsy play. He only has 17,000 hit points, but he does have his hydroacoustic up, so what he's trying to do is get close enough to this guy where his secondaries will be able to set fires, but the Fletcher is moving down there and will be able to cover the Montana with the smoke screen here. And there we go. The gearing well up to the northern part of the map in B6 does get detected by the Khabarovsk, so both of those enemy destroyers did end up where I thought they might be. Now we're going to try to get some shots here, and the Khabarovsk does take care of the gearing, so very nice stuff right there. The enemy Fletcher makes his appearance. He's at 12,000 hit points, and again, this is where the Udaloi absolutely excels. Any range, I'd say out of 7 kilometers, an American destroyer just should not engage in a gunfight against a Soviet destroyer unless they have a massive advantage in hit points, and they know for sure that they're skilled enough to be able to land the shells on target and secure the kill, because These guns are just so darn deadly, and even though I've been missing quite a few shells, that Fletcher has absolutely had to turn away. He did drop his torpedoes, and then out of nowhere, the Kagero appears off my right side at 4.5 kilometers. I'm getting some shells in here. You can see the high alpha damage. The high alpha on the Kagero's guns doesn't have a very good rate of fire, but when these guns hit, they do hurt very, very hard. Right there, I took almost 3,000 damage. I get whacked down to 900 hit points. I am charging the Montana. I'm on 600 hit points, and now I'm going to drop my torpedoes here really quickly just as I kick the bucket. I was only able to get one set off, but we'll see what we're going to be able to do here. We're going to follow the torpedoes into the smoke. Unfortunately, the Fletcher was able to get the kill, and you saw just how quickly I lost my hit points, and that's what happens when two destroyers plus a battleship are engaging a destroyer. It's pretty much a no-win situation, but fortunately for me, the Montana was stopped in the smoke, and because he used his damage control, two torpedoes slam home. I pick up the high caliber and the Confederate, cracking over 209,000 points of damage, and that guy is going to continue to hemorrhage hit points. So very good stuff right here. And then the Chupayev is also taking some shots at him as well, helping to reduce his hit points to a very comfortable level for our team. There's 4:15 left in the game. The damage continues to spike up for myself. The Montana is going to go down here any second, and there we go. I pick up It's Just a Flesh Wound for my 4th medal of the game, and that is final. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 513,000 credits received and 11,000 total EXP. This was not my first win of the day. I picked up Witherer, Confederate, It's Just a Flesh Wound, and High Caliber, dealing 223,000 points of damage off of 364 shell hits and 2 torpedoes. I set 17 fires and sank 2 enemy ships. Taking a look at the team score, 2,457 base EXP, a fantastic game if I do say so myself, and also the friendly Habarovsk on our team managed 4 frags and 2,065 base EXP, so a very great performance by him as well. Taking a look at the detailed report, 85,000 damage dealt with the guns, 100,000 damage dealt with fires, a further 16,000 damage dealt with the floodings. I almost picked up a very nice double Witherer, and a further 19,000 damage dealt with the 2 torpedoes. I had just over 1 million potential damage, which is honestly pretty nice for a destroyer, and of course I wasn't able to get any of the capture points, but really how you should be playing this is just escorting sneakier destroyers in there and helping them out in gunfights. And you can also see the majority of the damage that I did do was to enemy battleships. That's what Soviet destroyers are great at. Again, you do need to get on caps, or get near them, I should say, to help out your destroyers, but stay at range, burn them down, and that will certainly help your team out. So with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed the replay. Please consider giving the video a like, commenting on it, or subscribing to the channel. All of it is very much appreciated. And with that being said, the Sneaky Snake for Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, have a great day.